Okay, so this was both the final stop, well, the second to final stop on the road to WrestleMania, as well as the first stop on the road to SummerSlam. Sorry, I'm going to say SummerSlam. And they began with the Authority running through the majority of matches, but not all of them. Ironically, now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 matches in 4 hours. So that means if they are to divvy it all up equally, with 4 minutes of intro and exit music, you have 240 minutes. You could have 20-minute matches out of every single one of these. In 4 minutes of intro and outro, done. That's your whole show. 20 minutes apiece, done. But let's deal with Raw. We began with Orton Cesaro versus Owens Sheamus. Cesaro and Owens, great chemistry. Cesaro and Sheamus, great chemistry. Orton and Sheamus, good chemistry. Orton and Owens, they don't seem to mesh quite well. But great match, fun match. You can really tell that in the absence of Daniel Bryan, Cesaro was just taken off, which is fantastic. And Orton, RKOs, gets the victory. Good match, solid match, had your workers. Then we get Roman Reigns, Luke Harper, with Dean Ambrose on commentary. Ambrose does a great, subtle, hard sell of Roman Reigns. I think Michael Cole should have been taking notes of, when you're someone who's traveled with somebody, you can make these really outlandish comments, and they work, because they've worked together. Reigns, Harper, beautiful, hard-hitting match. Ironically, the Shield and the Wyatts needed more pay-per-view matches. Those two teams just tore the house down. And out in singles competition, they're doing a great job. Roman Reigns getting the victory, hard-fought match. He looked good. He's throwing out some new moves. It was a really solid match. Tamina took on Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, great, good job. Tamina, very few mistakes in this match. It was on the shorter side, but it worked. Disarmer, Lynch gets a victory. Good stuff. Rusev Henry with Lana on the outside. Like all Rusev Henry matches, Rusev beat Henry. But you had Lana on the outside, who said that she had a plan. Her plan was a return of Ziggler. Okay. Ziggler's taking on Rusev now at SummerSlam. Alright. We got the point across. It continued the storyline well. Ryback came out to face The Miz, because Ryback will defend his title against The Miz and Big Show, a match they were supposed to have at Battleground. So, Ryback beat Miz. Decent match. I did like the fact that Ryback went from a vertical suplex into walking back to still holding Miz, put him in a shell shock. Looked good. Those three are going to have a pretty good match. You've got Miz, who works well for getting some of the heel heat going in the match, keeping the crowd into it because nobody likes him. People will be chanting for the show to retire. Show will yell back, "You want me to retire? Find someone to retire me." It'll work. It'll work well enough. Primetime players, and I'm thinking the Lucha Dragons teamed up to take on New Day and Los Matadores in a match that we've seen almost way too many times. This is becoming the Rusev Mark Henry of the tag division, with Primetime players and Lucha Dragons getting the victory. All in all, not a bad match. It's weird that we're going to see a Fatal 4-Way, but it should work well enough. Sasha Banks took on Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella, apparently, her separated shoulder is healed well enough, but she still has a back injury she's working through. That's why she has very, very few singles matches. She also hasn't defended the title since the 4th of July. So she's not defending it at SummerSlam, and I want to say Night of Champions is just after she breaks AJ's streak. So she'll have broken the streak, but will have almost never defended the title. Yay, I guess. Now I'll go through the two big promos. Seth Rollins has been very consistent on the mic. And he again went with the standard, John Cena is a disease, he's ruining everything about professional wrestling. Good one, worked well. I do like the never shuts up, you can't see me. That's good, it works well. Cena came out, his face, the swelling's gone down tremendously. And again called him a crappy champion. And was like, you've been given all the tools by Triple H, even the pedigree, but he's doing that to extend his legacy. But oh, by the way, when I beat you, I become a 16-time champion, tying Ric Flair. It's like I tie his mentor. It's like you'll be a footnote in history. You'll be the guy who I beat to become a 16-time champion. And it was the first time he had really directly mentioned it, and I was like, oh, great. And I get to hear Michael Cole again be like, he's the greatest wrestler of all time. You want to say he's the greatest of all time? We'll start throwing on the caveat. He is the greatest sports entertainer of all time because Vince doesn't have wrestlers. Triple H has wrestlers. Vince doesn't have wrestlers. He has entertainers. Whenever I hear Michael Cole talk about how, the Bellas are the ones who really push for the Divas, no, not really. No. It was the fans. It was NXT. You might as well just say this was all what Triple H has been doing for the past couple of years, using NXT to actually build up the women's division. Can you say Paige was part one? Yep. Paige was the first person they brought up for the Divas Revolution. They just couldn't do anything with her. They brought her in, had her beat AJ, first night out. AJ wanted time off, Tamina had injuries. They could never find a good reason to have her face Natalya, which would have been an awesome series of matches. But, here we are. And then, of course, we ended with the Lesnar homecoming, which ended with Taker coming down and attacking Lesnar. And we have found out Lesnar does have a weak spot. Kick him in the junk. Worse comes to worse, if you're confronted with Brock Lesnar, you boot him in the junk as hard as you can. That is Brock's weak spot. That is Brock's kryptonite. Nutshots. So, I'll be honest, if you live near the Brooklyn area, you are in for an amazing 3 days of wrestling. NXT sounds like it's going to be ridiculous. SummerSlam sounds like it's booked better than WrestleMania. I think you're going to have the Fallout Raw afterwards with everybody still in the area, still in the overall area. So, I'm looking forward to NXT TakeOver. That's going to be an amazing 2 hours. That 2 hours has the chance to potentially almost be better than the 4 hours you'll have at SummerSlam, because I'm sure there'll be some filler. But, looking forward to both events.